Today, I want to look at real estate through a psychological lens, not a technological one. What we're experiencing in the industry right now isn't just disruption or margin pressure. It's cognitive dissonance. On one side, there is a deeply held belief system about the agent's role, authority, and value. On the other side, there is a consumer reality that has already moved on. This presentation is a clinical look at what happens when those two forces collide, and why so much of the friction we feel today is actually psychological, not structural. I am Steve Colino, and this is Confidential Remarks. The key point here is that friction is not the disease, it's the symptom. What looks like a fight over technology, commissions, or control is actually something deeper. Consumers have already shifted how they expect to access information and make decisions. At the same time, many agents are attempting the impossible task of holding on to an industry structure that no longer exists in its previous form. That gap between context and behavior creates cognitive dissonance, and cognitive dissonance drives defensive responses like gatekeeping. One of the most important distinctions in this entire discussion is timing. The consumer shift is not pending. It's not coming soon. It's already happened. Buyers and sellers now expect access, transparency, and self-directed exploration as a baseline. Any business model, mindset, or operating behavior that assumes otherwise is functioning in a past reality. This isn't a judgment, it's simply a statement of where the consumer already is. Despite the consumer shift, a significant portion of the workforce remains static. This is not a strategic pause. It's an active effort to preserve a status quo the market has already abandoned. A tremendous amount of energy is being spent on holding on rather than adapting. And that matters because energy spent on preservation is energy not spent on evolution. The result is frustration, exhaustion, and a growing sense that the industry is stuck. Cognitive dissonance occurs when someone holds two contradictory ideas at the same time. In this case, the belief is, I am the gatekeeper of data. The reality is that the consumer already has total access. That gap between belief and reality creates a dissonance zone, and the human mind is wired to resolve that discomfort, not sit with it. Resisting consumer evolution is not passive, it is psychologically taxing. Every day, agents are confronted with evidence that contradicts their self-perception. That clash produces unease and psychological tension. When the mind is preoccupied with resolving discomfort, it becomes very difficult to think clearly, plan strategically, or innovate effectively. This is why so many industry decisions feel reactive rather than intentional. When people experience cognitive dissonance, the brain looks for immediate relief. One of the fastest ways to reduce discomfort is justification. Gatekeeping serves that purpose. By doubling down on traditional behaviors, agents temporarily validate their old belief system. The stress goes down, but so does market relevance. Psychological relief is achieved at the cost of long-term competitiveness. This creates a closed loop. Market reality confirms the consumer has shifted. Agents respond by holding on to the old industry structure. That creates cognitive dissonance and mental discomfort. Gatekeeping provides temporary relief, which reinforces the original belief, and the cycle repeats even as market share continues to erode. Psychologically, the mind cannot live indefinitely in contradiction. There are only two ways to resolve this tension. Path one is to continue justifying the behavior. That provides short-term relief, but deepens the disconnect from reality. Path two is to change the belief itself. Accepting that the consumer has shifted permanently aligns belief with reality and removes the source of the dissonance altogether. The stagnation we see in real estate is not due to a lack of tools. It's due to an excess of unresolved tension. As long as agents are holding onto a ghost of the past, the discomfort will persist, and defensive behaviors will continue. To stop the pain of dissonance, one must stop fighting the reality of the shift. Adaptation doesn't begin with technology. It begins with psychological acceptance. This has been Confidential Remarks.